Hi everyone, so this is going to be quite a short video. I just want to show you the equipment that I use when I'm doing any vacutherapy, any medi-cupping, so that you can know what to expect. I'm going to show you the machine, I'm going to show you the different cups and what we do with them, and hopefully that will help you to feel a little bit more confident when you come along for your treatment. So it's only a small machine. So this is the MM600. That's where the pipe goes in. This is the adjustable pressure, and then the screen in front determines whether it's on permanent suction or a suction and release, and the timing for that as well. So I got my machine from Ace Massage Therapy in California, I think, over in America, but they're really helpful. I got my machine, got my training through them as well. The machine has been designed specifically to the way that Anita Shannon works, which I really love because that's where I got my training from. So various cups that we have, these are the largest, so they're all polycarbonate, well, apart from the stainless steel ones. So we have these that are polycarbonate, super strong, and these larger ones we would use for the glutes. So really handy for anybody who is sat down, either sat down because they're driving all the time or sat down because they're in an office. Really good for, because if you imagine we're sat down all that time, that metabolic waste isn't getting moved. So we can help that along with the larger cups. Then we have some a little bit smaller. We have a lot of our lymphatic system in our armpits and in the breast tissue. So these cups are really good for when we're working with breast tissue as well, which is really helpful for women's health. Then we have some of the more traditional size cups. So these are really good for just when I'm working on people's backs or abdominal cupping, really useful for that. And then they start to get quite small. So if you've seen any of the other videos, you'll know that we do facials with the cups. So that's when we're moving into the cups that are small enough to do that. Beforehand, I'll show you this, which is one of the bigger, smaller cups. This is what I would use on somebody's arm. So if we're trying to clear all the lymphatics, we start up at the armpits, the clavicle, and then we drain all the way up. And then people who have tired, heavy arms, or the massage therapist, so I do this treatment on myself as well. It's really useful for that. And on shins and calves as well, I would probably use that size cup for most people. Then we're moving into the cups that I would use whilst doing a facial. So clearing the clavicle, always starting at the neck. The clavicle is with these cups, depending on the person. And then we can clear the neck, in front of the ears, behind the ears, with sort of these size cups. So these are fantastic. I really like this cup here. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, there's a little hole in there. So that gives me the control without having to keep changing the machine for whether I want suction and release. And you can see it's not completely round, it's more of an oblong shape. So that's a really handy cup. And then again for the facials, I love this one. If you've had one of your facials, you will probably recognise this. If I'm working on any frown lines, any laughter lines, any deep lines on the face, I would always sort of use this cup, suction and release. And it's just so handy. So we work along with the line, but then we work across as well. So if you've ever looked at a close-up video of the fascia, the way that it kind of entangles and moves, you'll see why I don't just want to work with the tissue, but I also want to work perpendicular to it as well, to help really release that fascia and release the muscle as well. So that's the cups that I use for facials. And then there's these. So we have two each of these, so I can do with the bifurcated pipe, which I'll show you shortly, or just singularly. But a lot of people suffer with cellulite, which is fatty deposits stuck in the tissue. These stainless steel cups, very cold, I just have to put them on the radiator before I apply them to anybody, but they're just fantastic for cellulite. So these rollers inside, they're all movable, and obviously the suction comes through there, so absolutely ideal for working on the back of the legs. And then we have a smaller one that's exactly the same. So depending on where on the body the problem is, determines which one of the two cups that I use. And then, so that's all of the cup sizes, and then we have the pipes. So there's a few different ones, but the main ones, if I'm just using singularly, we just use this. So one end goes into the machine, and then of course the other end into the cup. So that would be what you would probably find me using most of the time. But again, if we're working with down somebody's erector spinae, just down somebody's spine, it's sometimes really nice to just have two cups going at the same time, and we can move that lymph and move that tissue together because we have the bifurcated tubes. Put a cup on each side, which is really, really helpful. So that's that one. Okay, so if anybody's got any questions or wants to know anything else about how we can use the Vacutherapy to help you, please drop in the comments at the bottom. Thank you.